Hey, what's going on everyone? Sean from Keto2.me here. Now, I don't know about you, I spend a lot of time in airports, and when I'm walking around and get hit with that Auntie Anne's directly in the face, it is very, very hard to say no. So ever since then, just that cinnamon, sugar, wonderful smell that always happens when you're looking for something sweet and you really shouldn't be having it, I needed cinnamon buns in my life. So what did I do? I scoured the internet, compared recipes, looked at different things, and tried to find one that would satisfy my craving for a cinnamon bun. So I ended up on this recipe from Nom Nom Keto that I decided to recreate, try theirs, but also make a little bit of change to their recipe to make it fit my needs. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'll let you know how these came out. Stick around, here we go. Okay, so in a bowl, we're gonna take about 60 grams of sour cream, 1 tablespoon of hold the phone, honey, real legitimate honey, and 3 tablespoons of warm water. This is tap warm. We're gonna stick this in the microwave until it reaches about 105, 110 degrees. So go ahead and put that in there, mix it up, throw it in the microwave. All right, now that this is out of the oven, it should be right around 105, 110. Just checking with the thermometer. Right around there, between 105 and 110, perfect. And so now we're gonna take 1 package of standard yeast and just throw that right in there. Mix it around. We're gonna cover this and let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, make sure the yeast is alive and kicking, and we'll be back. So in a large bowl, we have 225 grams of almond flour sifted. Always important to sift nut flours. They get really clumpy and you really don't want that in your final product. We have 45 grams of milled flaxseed. I buy it whole and just mill it. You can also buy it milled and save yourself some time. 1/4 cup of erythritol. You can use really any artificial sweetener. The ratios may be different. 1 serving of whey protein powder. This is plain. You could probably use vanilla just fine. I recommend plain. I have a baking mix. As long as it's whey protein, you should be good to go. This is 1 serving, about 30 grams. And then lastly, we have 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of xanthan gum. I'm gonna throw that in there as well. And then we just mix until well combined. All right, so it's been a few minutes now and you can see the yeast has proofed quite a bit of bubbles, activity happening in there. If you don't see this, scrap it, try again. Last thing you want is dead yeast. That's really gonna ruin your day. And to the yeast mixture, we're gonna go ahead and add 3 eggs, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and about 25 grams of melted but slightly cooled butter. Last thing you wanna do is put really hot butter into really cold eggs. You'll get scrambled and you'll have to start over. So I'm just gonna take this KitchenAid electric hand mixer and I'm just gonna mix this until fully combined. And now I'm gonna take my flour, I'm gonna add the liquid to it, mix that until fully combined as well. I'll just make a little hole in there. And mix. All right, so now that we have the dough all well incorporated, mixed together, I've lined my workstation with some cling wrap, whatever you have available. We're gonna take this, make it into a ball, and then try to make it about 7.5 by 9 inches. 8 by 9 would work as well, and we'll go from there. I'm gonna do this initially with my hands. If this doesn't work out, I will switch to a rolling pin, no shame. Rub a little oil into my hands, give myself a better fighting chance. So I melted about 45 grams of butter. I'm just gonna mix that up with a pastry brush and coat the entirety of this so our cinnamon sugar mixture sticks. All right, now you'll notice I left the top 1/2 inch or so undone. That way it can stick to itself, making that roll shape. This is a 1/4 cup of confectioner style erythritol and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. You can make confectioner style erythritol by taking regular granular erythritol and blending it, or you can purchase it pre-ground. Just throw as much as you can on here. All right, now we're gonna sleeping bag this up. We're gonna roll it as tight as we can all the way to the edge and seal it. Basically treating it, if you've ever made sushi, kind of like sushi. I'm just gonna let the cling film do the work so that way I don't have to touch it. Make life a little easier. Just fold it down, pull the cling film back. And so I'm gonna tuck these edges in, just make my life a little easier down the road. You don't have to do this, but it'll keep some more of the stuff in as opposed to it falling out. All right, so from here we're gonna shape them. I'm gonna take a nice sharp knife and I'm gonna cut this into thirds. You can eyeball it, you can measure it, it's really up to you. And now, see all this stuff on the knife? That's gonna make the next cut really miserable, so I take a damp towel, just wipe it down. Again, into thirds. All right, I'm gonna take a 9 by 9 inch pan, lined with some parchment paper, and then I'm gonna move these into here. Give them a little space to spread out. All right, so now that they're all lined up, I'm gonna cover this with a towel, stick it in a warm place for about an hour, and we will get back to you. All right, almost coming to a close here. We've got one more step, and that's probably the best part. We're gonna go ahead and make that glaze for the cinnamon buns. In our mixer bowl, we have 90 grams of cream cheese, 40 grams of butter, and 36 grams, or about a quarter cup of erythritol. Again, we're using the confectioner style. Blend it if you wanna make it. I'm gonna add to that a pinch of salt. Bam, just throw it on in there. And then a little bit of vanilla extract, about a teaspoon. But who measures vanilla extract? Not this guy. Let this all come to room temperature. We're gonna send it through the mixer. If it's too thick, we'll add some water. I'll show you what it looks like before we put it on the cinnamon buns. All right, and so this is the finished cinnamon bun glaze. Like you can see, it's nice and runny, easy to spread. I added a little bit of almond milk to this to make it this consistency. Depending on your area, you may need to add more or less. Just keep trying it until you get it nice and spreadable. All right, so these have been in the oven at 400 degrees for about 10 minutes. They got some good color on them. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it so that way they don't get more color and so they cook more evenly. When you do so, just make sure you don't have the tin foil on top. You want it to be over it so it doesn't crush. Nice loose wrapping. Back in the oven, another 10 minutes. Then we'll glaze these guys and we'll eat them. Now I just pulled these out of the oven after another 8 minutes in the oven for about 18 minutes total at 400 degrees. As you can see here, these are well cooked, really soft, nice gooey insides, and quite frankly, it smells fantastic in here. I'm gonna go ahead and ice these up. Just take our icing from before, spread it evenly on top while they're still warm. That way we can get it nice and covered. There you go. Wow, it can't even be understated. These cinnamon buns were amazing. They come out and they're nice and soft and you just wanna dump the entire container into your face. The glaze was fantastic, really pulled it all together. Honestly though, the secret, that yeast that you added to the dough really makes it taste like regular bread. Now mind you, it doesn't taste exactly like regular cinnamon buns, but it gives you all the components that you need. I will say that these recipes were involved, but they're well worth the effort. I hope you try them out as well. If you have any comments or any tips for making your own cinnamon buns at home or any other wonderfully warm desserts, I'd love to hear them because we're about to hit the winter time. And quite frankly, I need a nice long list of things to bake while I'm avoiding shovel. Until next time, I'm Sean from Keto2.me. Hey, and that's another one for the books. If you like this content, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. That way you get updates as soon as I post them. You can hit that thumbs up button if you like it, and that way I know I'm making videos that you find enjoyable. Also, if you're looking for new ideas constantly released when I release them, hit the bell. That way you'll get notified for new updates and new videos. Also, if you're looking for some of the best prices on keto products, check out the store at Keto2.me. I'd really appreciate it. It helps support me and it helps support this channel. So if you like what you see, I'd love for you to visit the store. Until next time, I hope your keto baking's going great. Enjoy.